here on a Thursday evening, ready to rock and roll and talk all things Buckeyes. You were telling me a little bit before we jumped on live, man. You had a busy week, man. You're feeling it today. How's it going today, Rob?
Man, it's kind of it was kind of rough. I had parent teacher conferences all day yesterday, all day today. Had to rush home, have dinner. Watching some March Madness, dude. My bracket's going pretty good. Looks like
Nice.
I'll have three losses so far, but the rest of the picks I got
Okay.
right.
So far, I think I only have two losses, but one of them is pretty lethal for me. Um, My Final Four's still intact, but I don't know what I was doing picking McNeese State to go far. I know nothing about them. I just saw, wow, 30-3. Okay, sweet. I like
I
that. I know you haven't played anybody.
Yeah, I picked James Madison to go to the Final Four.
I did see. I know you had mentioned that in the group chat. You had mentioned that was a possibility and that was a reality.
Yeah.
So you did end up picking to go to the Final Four then.
Yeah, they play Wisconsin the first round. At first I picked Wisconsin because I'm like, I like how they beat Purdue in the tournament to make
Oh yeah, no,
the
exactly.
Big Ten championship,
Yep,
and
Big Ten
so
championship game.
it was just like that's pretty impressive to beat a number one seed at the
Oh yeah.
end of the year in a conference tournament. So
Well, Purdue seems to always peak in the regular season. They can never get enough momentum to go to the Final Four. Although, admittedly, I did see a lot of ESPN workers. They had them making the Final Four, and I'm like, really? Maybe this is the year they break through, but I don't really see that happening per se. It would be interesting if it were to happen, though. I wouldn't root against them because it seems like Purdue chokes in the tournament every year. But it'd be fun to see them go further than they have. We'll see what
yeah,
they end up doing.
I mean I think this Kentucky loss is gonna kill me.
Did you have them going far?
I had them going to the Sweet 16 Elite Eight.
My dad had them winning the championship. I'm like, what?
No way, dude.
Not
John
Kentucky,
Calipari
not
coach
Kentucky.
teams haven't been the same since the early 2010s, like pre 2010s. So it's just and there's always that bracket buster, dude.
Always that bracket buster. It might be Oakland this year. Just up the street in Rochester, Michigan, from where we live. That'd be kind of fun to see.
Dude, I never saw this coming, man. I'm like,
Well,
because
apparently, some
Jack,
dude. I was just following along my phone. This one dude's hit like a bajillion
yeah,
threes in the
dude, Jack
game.
Jack Golski. It's
Dang,
ridiculous, dude.
never heard of the guy.
Ohio State.
Seriously, High
Yeah,
State better
seriously.
beat Michigan. I'm
Yeah,
with you
Ohio
on
State
that
better
one.
beat Michigan. All
We
right, on
can't
that
we can't
note,
lose four straight to
no,
them.
yeah, definitely can't lose four straight to them. If they lose four straight, I think Ryan Day's got to go.
Woo! Bringing the hot take, yo! Bringing the hot take in on a Thursday evening. What if they lost to Michigan but won the national championship? Would that change things for you?
I think all would be forgiven.
I think I will be forgiven too. It would have to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, he loses to Michigan, he loses to Michigan, but wins the national championship. It would be like the reverse Urban Meyer. Like Urban Meyer lost to teams that he really shouldn't have, like Purdue and Iowa, and but then he goes ahead and beats Michigan, and then all is
Right.
forgiven. It would be like the reverse Urban Meyer.
It would be kind of like that, and that almost happened in 2022. Man, we almost beat Georgia. The painful, painful loss, of course, the missed field goal.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's a,
if we'll ever get over that because beating TCU probably would have been very easy for us, unlike
oh
for
yeah,
Michigan. But
definitely.
and with the team we got coming back this year, man, it's a remarkable run that we're going to make at the championship. That's for sure.
Yeah. I wonder what the absence of Tony Alford will do with for the talented running back room we
For real.
we have. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, what are your thoughts a week on later? We've had a week to process that now that Tony Alford is gone. What are your thoughts on Tony Alford leaving the Ohio State Buckeye program?
You know, at the end of the day, everybody wants job security. Everybody wants that, you know, that for their family as well. And unfortunately, it had to be to Michigan. But to me,
Yeah,
you know,
that's my take
you
right there.
coach at Michigan for what, like 9 plus years, 8 plus years.
Mhm.
You're basically like you hate them. You're coaching every day for that game, and then you go and you join the team that you hate. Who's our quarterback this year for Ohio State? I think it's going to be between Will Howard and Julian Sand.
Ooh, so totally outcutting Devin Brown, which not surprised to hear you say that based
Look,
on your previous thoughts that you've
look,
shared.
Devin Brown and Lincoln Kienholz were never Day's first options. They weren't. But because like look at they were basically like, okay, Quinn Ewers really screwed us over. Um and like I just don't think they're ever gonna be legitimate starters.
Yeah,
Um they were
it
just
certainly
like
seems
they
that
were
way.
they were spot fillers. If it wasn't for them, Ryan Day would not have landed one single quarterback. What were they from? The 2022-2023 class?
Yeah, yep.
The dude from who he's now at Florida State. He actually started because Jordan Travis went down. I forgot what his name is,
Oh
but
shoot,
he,
I'm blanking
I
on
think
saying
it
too.
was Brock Glenn. Brock Glenn.
Okay, good memory, good pull.
He was originally committed to Ohio State, but he flipped at the last second, so that left Day scrambling around to,
They
pick up
scrambling
the
again.
scraps, go out and get some scraps, and that's
He
what he
had to.
got in Devin Brown, Lincoln Keenholz.
This no, that's a good point. That's a good point, man. They weren't never really intended to see the starting position, and that's just the way it was going to be. Like they're filler, filler positions at quarterback. They're depth pieces. They weren't ever meant to start at Ohio State.
Cause like what really concerned me is when Devin Brown came in a couple times, they never let him throw. They never didn't let him throw one pass. He was there for like a Tebow package in a way. Like
It seemed that way, especially, and that's where he got injured against Purdue down towards that goal line. It seemed like they had that goal line package for him. Yeah, inside the red zone, they'd bring Devin Brown in, and let him scramble around, let him run, kind of like Alex Orgy in Michigan. What they were doing, to be honest, for the Wolverines this past season, they didn't let Orgy throw the ball at all either. So, going back to Tony Alford. Yeah, I saw just just before he hopped on a little bit, he got a pay raise to 850,000. So he got a pay raise of about 100 grand. I don't know. That's not substantial. I mean, to me, that would be
it's not
amazing.
substantial, but it's the whole. This program sees my worth. They're gonna give me a slight pay bump, and I'm gonna have some job security.
And I'm gonna have an O line that I know will block for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not going to be a Justin Fryo line. Oh
No, it's
god,
not.
I'm
It
not.
seems like this is a frustrating thing that I have to share. I have to get on my chest just a little bit. It seems like Ohio State doesn't really practice the run all that much in practice. It seems like they practice pass pro a lot, and they go through 7-on-7s a lot because we had 3 offensive linemen drafted in the NFL in last year's class. No, we're not getting anywhere near that this year. But we had 3 offensive linemen drafted in the top couple rounds. So clearly they're valued, but they didn't know how to block the run game, it seemed. To me, it seemed like they didn't know what they were doing. So I don't know. It's just a frustrating thing for me to watch them be so elite at pass protection for C.J. Stroud and for Kyle McCord at times. Forget the bowl
Yeah.
game that is, of course,
I mean,
and be
we'll
so
see
bad
what
against the run.
yeah we'll see what happens. We're going to the spring game. We'll
Yes.
see what they look like come the spring game, and we'll see what happens over the summer. Now, if we're getting the same reports that we got before last season, then they're in a lot of trouble. If we're getting reports that the O line looks clueless, they're not run down the field and blocking, and there's not much enthusiasm,
Sure.
it's gonna start. We're gonna have to start looking at the big reason, the big why, and
Mm.
that could be Justin Fry. I mean, you have the chance to have two 1,000 plus yard backs, and if they don't eclipse that
You really
number,
do.
then it's to me it's a failure. It
Yeah,
really
they
is.
need to be the lightning in the center this year, and they both need to go over 1,000 yards. To be honest, it's just the truth of the matter. What's up, Splash? Welcome back in. Welcome back in. We're talking a little bit about Tony Alford and talking about Justin Fry, man. You made a video on Justin Fry just the other day. Expound on your thoughts about him, about why he needs to go, and why he's not the man for the job at Ohio State.
Like so, if you go look back at his days at UCLA, he didn't recruit well, and he didn't really develop well. And when he came to Ohio State, it was just like evident over the years that the O line was becoming a more and more problem. And then like if you go look at the recruiting classes, they've missed out on a lot. I mean, a lot. I mean,
High end guys.
the last elite offensive lineman they had was Paris Johnson.
Sure, he was the last like 5-star guy that we got, right?
Yeah, he was and ever since then, like Tony, I mean, I Justin Fry can't even hit in the top 100. I mean, yeah, in 2025 they have low, but let's see if it sticks. Let's see if a offensive lineman who's in the top 50 sticks to Ohio State. Because before they missed out on Seaton, they missed out on.
Tractor.
I mean, I thought they were gonna get Proc. I thought like
Yeah.
Proctor's be like, "Oh, I want to go to Ohio State. You know, I want to join what's going on over there." No, he's going back to Bama. He's going back to Bama, and you know, it makes me think like if the old offensive line coach, who was that? What was his name?
Strudrawa, Greg Strudrawa.
Yeah,
Stud, Coach Stud.
yeah. If Coach Stud was still there, it would make me like think like maybe things would be different. But no, like F the Buckeyes. Yep. All right. Cool. F the Buckeyes. Yep.
We
All right.
always bring in the Michigan fans, man. No Ohio
Yep.
State fans ever want to join this podcast for some reason.
All they want to do is come in and talk smack.
Come in,
That's
talk smack,
fine.
and jump back out.
Let them. Let them. But like, if you look at that bowl game, they had a month to prepare. They had a month to prepare for that bowl game,
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
like the O line was just it was embarrassing. I'm like,
It
what is
was.
going on? Like, there's no enthusiasm. There's no like sense of
They had no heart,
urgency.
no passion in that game.
Yeah, no passion in that game at all. And
It
to
was
me,
infuriating to watch a little bit, no doubt.
dude on the right looks like Peter Griffin.
Oh man,
Oh man.
that's harsh. That's harsh.
Oh boy, that's actually kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie, because Family Guy, it was like one of my favorite adult cartoons growing up.
Oh, okay, sure. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, it just you gotta start looking at the coach, man. You have to. I mean, Ryan Day talks about trying to make good decisions.
Hmm.
And keeping this guy on staff, it's his worst one yet. You got rid of Parker Fleming. You pretty much passive aggressively, indirectly drove Tony Alford out of town with that
Yeah.
pay cut and 1 year extension.
Yes.
But everyone else is taken care of. Like to me, that makes absolutely no sense at all.
Well, it is a little bit confusing in his still on staff. I think at this point of the season, though, it seems like if he's not been let go yet, he's not going to get let go at this point. You're not looking for coaches at this point in the offseason. Like unfortunately, Ohio State was left doing that because of Tony Alford's departure. But usually at this time of the offseason, you're not firing guys. You're not looking for new hires to come along with staff. Um, I think the one thing gets a little bit overlooked right now for Ohio State is that Ohio State is running spring practices without a running backs coach. That's
Yeah,
kind of an interesting predicament that they're in right now.
that's not a good look. I
And
mean,
now
there's
Michigan, their D line coach got fired. Yeah, what's up, Michigan fans? Welcome on in. This is the Wolverine podcast for everybody who
yep,
wants to
the
know.
Wolverine podcast.
Michigan D line coach got fired for a DUI. He got initially suspended. No, I don't think this year we have a chance at losing. But your defense is gonna be quality. Um, but we're talking about their new coach Scruggs, who actually just got fired. So Michigan now is looking for a coach at the same time that Ohio State is looking for a coach in the middle of spring practice. Not an ideal time to be looking for a
Wait a
coach.
minute. Whoa, hold up. Scruggs got fired?
It happened today. I read it while I was at work. I read it on the line.
What?
He, no,
Oh
he, he
my
um he resigned. He resigned. He resigned. He resigned.
man. That is yeah. You have Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant on the
Yeah,
D line, and now you don't have a coach.
don't have a coach for him.
That is
And
huge.
Engle Blog's talking about possibly bringing back Brady Hoke because he stepped away from San Diego State. He's not
Come
the head coach
on,
there anymore.
man. Brady the Joe Coke, man. He was a great salesman for Michigan football, but you know what? That it didn't hold up. So
No, he was a great clapper. He was a great clapper.
yeah, he he was a great clapper. He was, but man, I didn't know they let him go. I didn't see one article about that.
Yeah, no, I saw Engelblog had posted about it. They made a little post that got like 100 or some comments. I read that a little bit of those comments at work today in between people coming in.
Was there some like lame excuse like, "Oh, we didn't need him anyways." Like, "Oh, did
No,
they turn it on
surprisingly, they
Ohio
were taking
State?"
it well. Surprisingly, they were like, this is the right move. They were praising Sharon for the quick action that he took, of course. So they're praising Sharon for that. But yeah, who knows what's going on? But let's get on to the second subject matter of the day. Charles Woodson said this, and I'd love to hear your response and thoughts. I made a video on it earlier this year, and this is what Charles Woodson had to say. He said, "You look at what Ohio State is doing, doing right now, buying all these players. It's hard to build a team that way." What are your initial thoughts when you read that comment? When you hear that comment?
I mean, yeah, if you're the Miami Hurricanes, it's in Texas A&M, it's hard to build your team that way because you don't have any good coaches surrounding these players. Like, but at Ohio State, you have some good quality coaches. Respond to me now, or you're fired. Come on, man. Like,
Give
all
us the
right,
program.
dude.
Comment on what we're commenting about, please. You jumped into our live.
Yeah, you jumped into our live.
So Charles Woodson made those
Yeah,
comments, and I agree with you. It is hard to build an entire team that way, but that's not what Ohio State is doing. They took 5, 6 players from the portal to make a great team, to make a good team, a very good team, or a great team. You know, Charles Woodson, I respect the man too, and I said that I gave him my props in my video. I think he's a respectable individual, and if Ohio State was filling 10 to 15 to 20 spots through the transfer portal, I'd be highly concerned and say we are screwed. But we're not doing that. We're filling holes, we're filling gaps, we're improving in positions that need improvement. Common Core left us kind of dry, and we didn't get oh gosh, the quarterback that went to Oregon. Um,
Dante
help me on
Moore.
this. Dante Moore. I knew it was Moore
Yeah,
something. Yeah. Or no, not Dante Moore. The guy that went from Oklahoma to Oregon this year. Um,
the guy. Oh, Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel. We didn't get Dylan Gabriel. That's who I wanted above Will Howard, above anybody else. I wanted Dylan Gabriel above everybody else, but we didn't get him, and so we got Will Howard, and that may or may not be an upgrade. We'll see what that proves to
Well,
be.
he saw how good Bo Nix did when he went from Auburn to Oregon, so it's Oregon very appealing right now. So
We have wide receivers that can make any quarterback look good, and that's why Tom McCord threw for 3,300 yards last year. He didn't. We'll see how many yards he gets at Syracuse this year. It'll be under 2,500.
dude,
I'll be almost certain.
I still remember him showing up at that bowl game, and Syracuse is like down 45-0. The look on his face probably like, what I sign up for? I'm
What
coming
the
here.
frick am I doing here, man?
Like
This team sucks.
at least I'll play. Like there's no
At least
pressure
I
to
get to
win.
start.
There's no pressure to
Yeah,
win. So
no pressure to win whatsoever. So it's pretty funny, man. Like, I think Charles Woodson's comments are on point. If you're trying to build an entire team like that, an entire team, 15, 20 players, entire starting, units, then you're in trouble like a Texas or Miami, Florida. You're doing things the wrong way, and it's not going to prosper. It's not going to succeed well. Here's the only thing where I slightly agree with Charles, where it's like, if you're bringing in players, they have to be cultural fits for you. You run the risk of ruining the brotherhood and the team chemistry that you have by bringing in some bad apples. Now, some people are saying Quinshon Judkins is a bad apple. What do you have to say about that? Like his
so
quarterback said that,
from
Jackson Dart.
from what I was hearing, he
Hmm.
went into Lane Kiffin's office and he asked for more NIL and he asked for the offense to revolve around him more. Could that be an issue? Possibly, but could Ryan Day rein in one of those players to, adapt to the culture and make them understand that we don't play games up in here in Columbus? More than likely, yeah. I mean, you have to look at the coaches. I mean, do I take Kiffin seriously? No, not really.
No, we just spent
No,
no $13 million.
not not really. I mean, I honestly like. I think that Lane Kiffin is mad that he took a lot of time out of his day to scout this dude,
Yes, yes,
and he actually like came, got a lot of success, and now he wants to leave. And let's be honest, a good amount of the SEC does not like Ohio State. They don't.
it's true. It's true.
They don't. So, I mean that's my take on that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I'm with you. I think it's interesting. You have to bring the right character guys in. You really do, because it could upset the chemistry that you have. And if you are going, I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to see the split carries that Henderson and Judkins get this year, because is one player selfish? I don't think Henderson is. He seems like a humble beast his entire time he's been here. So I'm not worried about him. I am a little worried about the outsiders potentially rocking the boat a little bit and maybe not buying in the program, maybe being a little self centered. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. Now, if Ohio State is going to add 5 to 6 players every offseason, I'll start to be a little more concerned. Welcome in, Wolverine. This is Wolverine Live. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it. um, we, we just can't attract any Buckeye fans for whatever reason.
I
We're
know,
not
man. It's
unlikable
just
Ohio State
like
fans or something.
the all these Wolverine fans come like we don't mind it, but it's just like, and that makes me wonder like how many actual Ohio State fans are subscribed to our channel.
Yeah, seriously,
How
it seems
many?
like more Michigan fans have subscribed to our channel than any other fan base.
Yeah,
They want to
yeah.
come for the jokes or something like that. But we'll see when they win the national championship, like Denzel Burke predicted, how many Wolverine fans stick around to our channel, because we'll be talking a lot of smack on you. Trust me. Now,
Yeah.
that's not putting the cart before the horse, but I'm just saying Denzel Burke claimed it, and he's going to try and back it up this year on the field in 2024. We'll see what happens. But Charles Woodson, a respected man, he's got some insight, he's got some wisdom into what will work and what won't work. I hope this doesn't become a regular thing where Ohio State adds 5 to 6 players every offseason because I think that would be a little problematic and a little troublesome if you're asking me. Over recruiting the players that you recruited in your typical recruiting class, I think that would become a little troublesome for Ohio State. So I
I
don't
mean,
want to see this
yeah,
become a regular thing.
the yeah, the players you recruit, they're more than likely all in for the program. That's why they came in the
Olympic
first
program.
place. But these players who go from portal to portal, and so they're more than likely looking for the bag. They're more than likely looking for, let's say the running back, more touches, you
Yeah.
know. But you do have to be careful of that. You should be taking care of those who you recruited first.
I think so, and that's like an Aaron Nolan type man. I mean, I'm rooting for the kid. Julian Sain might be the better quarterback, but I honestly prefer Aaron Nolan because he was a guy who was committed to Ohio State a long time ago. Um,
Yeah.
Now, may the best man win the position. Obviously, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. I want the best man to win the battle when it comes down to it in 2025, when Sain and Nolan are going head to head. But I prefer a guy to start that is committed to Ohio State all along, came out of the South, clearly wanted to go to Ohio State, always wanted to go to Ohio State, it seemed, and was committed and was recruiting players for a long time to be in that class with him. So I don't know. That's just kind of my take on it, my thoughts on that matter. But those are the things I'd have to say about Charles Woodson and his comments. Don't bring in 5 to 6 players every offseason. 2 to 3 to 4, even four, but I'd say four usually would be a max unless you really got some glaring weaknesses on your team. But you're gonna upset the players that you've built a relationship with, that you have a connection with, and that you have recruited and spent time in their homes in the off seasons leading up to their recruitment as freshmen. The next up, man, we got with college football expansion. We got it coming in 2026. We're already expanding it, going to 12-team playoffs. Now we're going to 14-team playoffs come 2026. So we'll have 2 years of 12-team playoffs, and then we'll have through 2032 a 14-team playoff format. So should my question to you, Rob, is should conference championship games be scrapped? Is that a bygone era, a fad that's just going to pass away, or should it continue?
Hmm. Maybe it's gonna go back to the BCS era, like
What do you
whoever
mean?
had like. So there wasn't back in the BCS era. There wasn't a conference championship game.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, there was in a way, but I mean, for example, like 2002 Ohio State versus Michigan, that was the
yeah,
last game of the year. Whoever
yeah,
won that game, they won the Big Ten title, and there was no like, okay, they're gonna go play in Indy the following weekend.
yeah.
Like
Right,
it I could see them scrapping conference championship games, and it would be like the NFL in a way. Like whoever has the best record, they get
sure,
the conference championship, they get the first round bye, they get the top seed in the playoffs.
right. And
Or
it
if you're looking
seems
at it from a money aspect, keep the conference championship games.
that would be so wild to win right now to win the national title. If you miss the bye week, if you miss one of the top 4 seeds, you would have to play 17 games to win a national title. We're getting
Yeah,
more and more like the
that's
NFL the more we think about it. The closer we get to the NFL model, it's wild. We're getting communication in helmets now in practice. We're getting a 2-minute warning drill, timeout now, a 2-minute clock, and just like the NFL has a timeout. And it's becoming more and more like the NFL, which I personally don't like. I don't agree with. I don't think it's for the best of the college sport. I think it's good that there's differences. I think it's good that the hash marks are different. I know Ryan Day wants it to become more like the NFL with wider hash marks, and I'm like, no, bro, it's a different game. Keep it the way it is. But I
you
get
know
where you come from because the offensive system is more pass heavy.
it'd be funny if they're like, "Oh, these players want to be paid like pros. Let's make the league. Let's make college football more like the pros. We're gonna do 16 plus games. we're gonna do the we're gonna implement all the things that are in pro sports in pro football.
Yeah, right? No
Yeah,
kidding.
they're gonna make them work for their bacon. So yeah,
Yeah. It certainly seems that way, man. It's a wild time, dude. I mean, college football is not gonna stop expanding. It's not gonna stop making money unless people say enough is enough, dude. And I'm at the point where I'm complaining a little bit because it's becoming more like the NFL. But, um, I love college football so much. I know it's always gonna be part of my life, man. It's always gonna be part of my football fall Saturdays. Like, it just is. Like, no matter how gross the sport gets, I'll probably still continue to watch, you know? No matter how much like the NFL it becomes, I'll probably still be watching because well, I say it's just it means a lot, you know, to me personally. So uh it's getting harder and harder to go to games. We were looking at Ohio State Michigan tickets earlier this offseason and what they might be. And when you get the taxes and the fees coming in, we're talking over $400. And we couldn't have that, man. We couldn't
I
have
think
that at
that's
all.
just StubHub, dude. The StubHub service fees
Step
are
up fees.
ridiculous.
Out of
Yeah.
control, man, but Vivid Seats is the same way, like, it's insane, man. It's absolutely out of control, so that's one thing that's getting irking me a little bit. It's getting hard to see in person. I'd love to go to Ohio State, Penn State this year. I would love to go to that football game in Happy Valley. I'll let you know if I ever bite the bullet and punch those tickets. I know you and your wife are going to that game, so that'd be sick, man. That'd be sick. So oh,
Yeah. I hope she's not watching this
hopefully
because
not.
that's supposed to be a surprise.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Ruined here on Buckeyes Battle Cry Live.
She doesn't even know I got him. So
Dude, that's epic. All right, well, you won't hear me mention another word.
yeah.
Um, that's oh my bad if she is. She's gonna be rapping on the door like, "Are you serious?"
uh,
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, there's so much more we could talk about, but one thing I do want to talk about before we jump off is the top 5 defensive ends or edge players in Ohio State history, man. And here's the thing, dude. I got it down to 6, and then I was like, "Wow, this is a challenge. This is not easy."
yeah.
And the more I thought about it, though, I feel pretty good about my top 5. I'm not gonna lie. The top
Yeah.
5 edge or defensive end players. There's some pretty clear cut examples on this list that have to be mentioned, and you're like, oh yeah, duh, obviously. And then
All
there's
right.
also some things you're gonna be like, wait a second, bro, you're a freaking joker for saying that, for ranking them where you ranked them. So let's get into it without further ado. Um, there's some amazing honorable mentions I left off, but number 5, Ironhead Cam Hayward. He was an
Oh.
absolute monster for Ohio State defensive end. I don't know if he ever had a season over 10 sacks, but he consistently delivered with pressure, run stopping. Cam Hayward was a monster back there. And if this was including pro careers, dude, he'd probably be higher on the list
He'd be
because
one, dude.
he's a stalwart for the Steelers right now.
Yeah.
Absolute stalwart for them. So Cam Hayward comes in at number 5, my defensive end edge um, player listing. Um, this next one's gonna piss you off. I already know,
All right.
but just hear me out on this one. Just
All
hear
right.
me out on this one. This man, talent wise, I would rank him second. But that's not just all that this includes. That's not what all this includes. It includes career, and then includes injuries. That includes what you did to the program, what you didn't do to the program, what you won for the program, what you didn't win for the program. And so, talent wise, he's higher. But career at Ohio State only. Nick Bosa comes in at number 4 for me.
Man,
I
I
know,
don't.
I knew it was gonna mess you up. What do you think? Am I totally off base with that?
I mean, I wouldn't put him at 1 or 2. I'd put him at I could see him at 4, but I'd probably put him at 3. He did have a short stint at Ohio State.
That's
You
the
know, he
thing.
he had that injury against TCU, and he
So
just never he didn't come back. He got ready
Well,
for
that's
the
the
draft.
thing. He had the opportunity to come back towards the end of the season, and he chose not to. And that's why I rank him lower because although he was committed to Ohio State and was having a Heisman candidate season in 2018 before he went down, he really was. But then he chose not to come back, and that really tarnished his legacy for me a little bit. And then if you just look at statistic wise, I haven't included statistics too much in the last couple rankings that I've done. But he, at Ohio State, his brother's a lot higher. There's other players that are a lot higher than him statistic wise, and that's why we got Michigan fans rolling in here heavy. So we got Cam Hayward at 5, Nick Bosa at 4. Now, a guy that a lot of people have probably forgotten about, Will Smith, is coming in at number 3.
I was just thinking about him, dude. Will Smith, dude.
Yeah, Will Smith
Definitely.
was a monster, and people have forgotten because it's been 22 years. He was unblockable in that Miami game, dude. He was a
Yeah,
terror
he
and a
was.
nightmare for the Miami offensive front.
He was.
So Will Smith, he always showed up versus Michigan. I know he had a huge sack on John DeVar in the O2 game that I attended, Ohio State versus Michigan in the Horseshoe. Will Smith was unblockable. Rest in peace to that young man. He was taken
Yeah.
too soon. His son is on the team now. That's a really cool legacy prospect for Ohio State, and I hope he has a tremendous career at Ohio State as well. But what do you think about Will Smith coming in at number 3? And do you have any memories of him?
I think that's about right. I'd have Will Smith
Okay.
at number 3. But
Now, had these other players not come in under the Urban Meyer tenure, Will Smith might have been number 1 on this list because of how dominant he was. I had to go back and look at highlights. This is an awesome YouTube channel, Colton Denning. He uploads he uploads sorry, I got distracted by the comment there. He uploads highlight reels for specific players throughout their high state career, so we can look back a little bit nostalgia and look back. And Will Smith's highlight tape is unbelievable, man. He was a great pro for the Saints for a while too. Coming in at number 2, it's the second Bosa brother. Joey Bosa brought home a national title to the Buckeyes. He brought home
yeah,
the the biggest hardware that can be won, as did Will Smith. And he was a monster versus Penn State. He was a monster versus Michigan in 2015. Had the strip sack. He took out Michigan's quarterback at the time. He took him out of the game with that strip sack. It was unbelievable what he did. The transfer quarterback from Iowa. I'm totally blanking on his name right now, but Joey Bosa was an unwreckable force, dude. Just a monster back there for the Buckeyes.
I
And he comes in at
remember
number 2.
the 2015 Michigan game. He
Yeah.
uh he was going to sack the quarterback, and he
Yep.
actually intercepted the
He
pass.
intercepted it.
He took it for a
Almost.
touchdown. Didn't he get 2? Didn't he get
He got
2?
a strip sack and he got a pick in that game. Yeah.
Yep, he got a strip sack and a pick. That's right.
Yeah, he had a tremendous game in 2015.
I already
42-13 blowout of the
I already
Wolverines.
know who your number 1 is, and
There's no mystery, bro. There's no
I
mystery.
fully agree, dude.
Yes, I'm glad you agree. And I don't think anybody else could be here. He's our all-time sack leader, Chase Young.
Dude, I was at that Wisconsin game where he had a monster game. It was ridiculous. Fumble recovery. He like what do he have? Like 2 fumble recoveries. He had like 5 sacks. Like he was having a Heisman type season
Yes, he was.
until that bogus suspension. But
Yes.
whatever.
Seriously, seriously. Yeah, Chase Young, 16 and a half sacks at Ohio State in his final year. Phenomenal player, super quick twitch athlete. Could not be stopped coming off the edge on a speed rush. His moves were amazing. He was so freakishly athletic, bro, for Ohio State. He just signed with the New Orleans Saints. So maybe he'll carve out his own legacy there. It didn't really work out in Washington with injuries and the like. His first season was tremendous in Washington. And then I thought he'd resign with the San Francisco 49ers because he clearly had a tremendous second half of the season with the 49ers there. And then he just goes and gets the bag down to New Orleans, I guess. So good for him. But Chase Young, I don't think anybody else could be high, could be higher than this. And and I think it's the right five.
Look, you guys let Kyle McCord walk. Shame on you, Buckeyes. He chose to walk. He left. He came into Ryan Day's office after he was the reason that they lost to Michigan. And he's like,
History.
guarantee me a starting spot. I want more NIL. You'll see when he goes to Syracuse and he does not have the wide receivers that he had at Ohio State. You'll see why that he was just it was just not meant to be at Ohio State. You will.
Yeah. Even CJ Stroud, he came to the pro day yesterday that Ohio State had. They had their pro day down in Columbus at the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. And CJ Stroud spoke with the media, and I watched his interview, and they asked him about Kyle McCord, and they said, were you in touch with Kyle? Did you speak to him at all? He said, "Man, I was pretty in shock. When he answered the transfer portal, I saw that, but I caught up with him, and I understood why he left. I understood, he said sometimes people outgrow places, and that he just had to move on to a different location, a different spot. And I thought that was an interesting insight. He said he touched base with him, talked to him a couple times, after he entered the transfer portal, because him and Kyle grew up together at Ohio State. They were there for 3 years together, or 2 years anyway together. And no, Kyle leaving is a net gain for Ohio State. It's a net gain for Kyle too because he wasn't going to be successful here, and clearly he wasn't happy here anymore either. So that was very much the case, I would say so. Um, so it was interesting to hear CJ's perspective. But getting back on topic a little bit, the guy left off a name that gets forgotten now because it was such a bust in the NFL, man. People forget that Vernon Golson was the all-time sack leader in a single season with 14 sacks in 2007. People forget about that season. He had 3 sacks in the Michigan game, two on Jake Long, who had never given up a sack at all previously in that season. Vernon Golson got him, and but he was kind of one-hit wonder. You know, he didn't
Yeah.
he didn't produce too much the year before. 6. He was on the field, yes, but he wasn't much of a producer that year. And then we don't include the pros in this, but he was a complete and total bust. So um, um, Vernon Golson comes in as the honorable mention for me because he was the all time sack leader for Ohio State for so long. Another honorable mention, Sam Hubbard. You gotta love Sam Hubbard. Remember the
Yeah.
dual sack he had on McSorley and Saquon Barkley. The dual tackle that he had, that was epic. He was a tremendous player for Ohio State, and he's proven to have a great pro career as well. And then another guy, Tyquan Lewis, he gets the honorable mention as well. Another stud back there. He had a couple 8, 9 sack seasons, but nothing to get him to force him. Excuse me. I think I just
My
blew, blew your thing
it
down
just fell down. It just fell down. That's too funny.
right on the sneeze cue.
I
That's
didn't kill
hilarious,
you.
bro. That's hilarious. I blew it down, bro. As we welcome in another Michigan Wolverine. Don't forget to like and subscribe, man. Thanks for commenting.
I
We
mean,
appreciate you guys
if
coming
you're
in.
gonna come on, if you're gonna come on here, like and subscribe. Come on the
Yeah,
next
come on for
show.
more. We're live every
Yep.
Thursday, bro. YDM, we're here every Thursday night talking Buckeyes football, and we're here every day just about uploading a video about what Ohio State is all about and what the latest in Buckeye Nation is and around college football. We made a lot of Michigan videos. If you peruse our channel, we make a lot of Michigan videos, and we think they're pretty fair takes. Sometimes a little controversial. But yeah, man. So those are my top five. Running down again: Cam Hayward at 5, Nick Bosa at 4, Will Smith at 3, Joey Bosa at 2, and Chase Young at 1. I when I thought about it, man, I thought this has got to be the list, man. Like nobody else could top it besides Chase Young. I think that's the right top five order. You can debate. You can always debate that, man, and that's what I love about these
Now,
top fives.
if we're going one game performance wise,
Oh yeah,
top like one game performance wise, it would be between JTT and Chase Young, because that one game that
and again.
JTT had against Penn State.
Yeah, JTT versus Penn State. We've been waiting for him to replicate that ever since, and apparently he just
It just
can't do it,
yeah, you can't.
or whatever. It seems like, it seems like he just can't quite get back to that low production. Now he was solid this year. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me twisted. He just didn't pop off the screen. He didn't. people kept on saying. I think even Joe Klatt said something along the lines of like, "I keep waiting for JTT to have that breakout stud performance where he announces himself to the national media again," and it just hasn't happened since that game. So it's a little bit unfortunate, um, but that's the way it is, you know. I think Vernon Goldson will be included because he had that 3-set game versus Michigan in '07. He'd probably make the top 5 based on single game performances. Shoot, Jack Sawyer might even make the top 5 because he had 3 sacks versus Missouri, and that's a rarity to get 3 sacks in one game for one player. So I don't want to remember too much on that Mizzou game, but that was 2016, by the way, that
Yeah, that was
game in
2016,
overtime,
man.
and JT got the first down.
Yep, you got the
Quit
first
crying about
down.
it. That
Yep,
happened a
quit
long time
crying.
ago.
We don't
You
care.
should have moved on by
We
now.
don't care about that game anymore. We care about the now.
We care about the now because we lost 3 straight to you guys, and it's time
Yeah,
to correct that before the wrong ill happens again in November on November 30th in the Horseshoe, which I don't think it will. I think the Buckeyes come out victorious, and not just because I'm a homer, just because I think this is the first time in a while we actually do have the upper hand. Now we have had more talented rosters according to PFF the last 3 years, but you had the better quarterback, you had the home field advantage, you had the team chemistry with all your super seniors and COVID super seniors, and I didn't expect to win this year. If they lose again, then we said it earlier. Ryan Day's got to go.
yeah. Ryan Day's got to go
Ryan
unless
Day's got to go
he makes it up for by
unless
winning
he
the
turns it
Natty.
around and
Unless
wins
he
the
turns
national
around and wins the
championship.
Natty.
But if you don't win the Big Ten for a 4th year in a row, that's damning. If you don't beat Michigan for 4 years straight, that's damning. Yeah, we have the better wide receivers. That's one position group.
Yeah, I man, Bo Kid. Look at the comment that Bo Kizzy did up there.
I
Like,
saw that. No,
come
no,
on, man.
no addressing that. But Ohio State has the better team this year. It's very clear. It's very obvious that Ohio State has
All
the
right, you know
superior
what,
team
dude?
this year.
Click on. I'm sorry, but like, I
Yeah, I
don't
got
like.
you. I got you.
Click on Bo Kizzy and get him out of here. You can ban him.
Yeah, I think I just did, but maybe not. There we go. It was hidden anyway. Um, so I think Ohio State comes in with the superior team this year, and I think that it would be shocking. It would be a shocking result if the Buckeyes do not win in Columbus this year. What are your thoughts on that matter?
I I think that that would be absolutely shocking, and there's literally no excuse. They have pretty much the whole defense coming back. They got the They'll have the best backfield in college football. They'll have pretty much upgrade on on their quarterback,
You,
and a killer secondary. They have Caleb Downs back there now. There's just and they have a lot of experience. A
yeah.
lot of experience.
Well, that's the
Pretty
thing.
much a good amount of players that come back for their senior years. I don't remember the last time star players in Ohio State have come back for their
Have
senior
returned.
years.
Seriously.
Have returned for their senior years. It's been forever.
It happened in '02, and guess what? We won the national title. Will
Yeah.
Smith his senior year, and Mike Doss called it his senior year. He's coming back to win it all, to win all the stuff that they hadn't won in the previous years. And they're coming back for everything. They're coming back for it all. And here's the thing to your comment, YDM. I agree. Ohio State has had the superior talent, but they're younger talent. And you had the superior quarterback. It could not be denied. Now in 2022, CJ Stroud's a better quarterback than than JJ McCarthy was at that point in their careers in 2022. But it didn't matter because our defense was so trash.
The secondary
So
was
trash.
trash. So trash.
We gave up so many big plays throughout
It
the
was
year. Now, this
embarrassing.
past season, we didn't give up a single play of over 20 yards the entire season. I don't remember Ohio State defense being that elite.
No.
I think Ohio State should have won more if we had a better quarterback. I think Ohio State would have won more this past year. But it didn't turn out that way. Ohio State did not
You
win
know,
more. They did not win the Big Ten. They did not beat Michigan, and they did not make the playoffs. And so that's a damning result on Ryan Day's head. And he knows that all the pressure is on him this offseason. And that if he does not beat Michigan, if he does not make a serious run in the national championship and probably win the national championship, he'll probably be gone.
Yeah, I mean, I before the 2023 season started, I called. I'm like, the quarterback is going to be the reason why they lose, why they don't make
Sure.
it. And here's the thing, though, like people are saying, "Oh, don't worry, Cobb McCord has it." It's just like if Ryan Day is taking this long to pick his quarterback,
Take so long.
so long to do it. You do that means you do not have a quarterback. That means
It
that he
means
does
there
not
was no
trust
clear
either
cut winner
one.
in the progress in camps.
It's
Now,
crazy that
here's the thing though. He's not on our hot seat. But if
yeah,
he loses to Michigan again and doesn't reach any of the goals that Ohio State sets goals, 3 goals every offseason. Beat Michigan first and foremost. Win the Big Ten, win the national championship. We're 0-3. We're 0-9 if you add them up for the last 3 years. That's just the way it is, man. Ohio State it has results that are higher and expectations that are higher than most programs. We don't we don't accept the fact of losing Michigan 3 years in a row. Not with the roster that he's built. Now we have the coaching staff to do what we set out to do now. I think we have a better coaching staff now because your staff got completely plucked, got completely torn apart and shredded by Jim Harbaugh. Let's just be honest about that. Jim Harbaugh shredded your staff for his own personal gain now. Yeah, it's a 12-team playoff. And so that's the thing.
yeah.
A lot can happen. A lot can happen.
You
And
know,
the best team's not always going to win a
I
12-team playoff.
I think that the coach that Moore is hired who has the most promise is their defensive coordinator.
Wink, Martindale.
Yeah, I think he has the most promise out of all of them.
He's the master. He's the master craftsman of that defense that they run right now.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the architect.
So since he's so familiar with the defense, I think he's got the most promise.
Here's the thing. Originally, I thought Michigan was going to go 9-3 next year. Originally, I did, but now I see their defense is coming back, and Wink Martindale was a good hire. But overall, your staff isn't nearly as impressive as it was. I think your ceiling is 10-2 next year. I don't think there's any way you get to 11 wins except in the postseason. I think that because of your coaching staff being completely decimated, um, and because you lost JJ, you lost Blake. Donovan Edwards is not an every down back. He's just not. It's that simple. He needs a massive gaping hole to do anything. He proved that in the Washington game. He proved that in the Ohio State game in 2022. And that's not me being salty. It's just being honest. I respect Blake Coleman. He's an unstoppable beast for you guys. He was an every down back. He was an every down back. Donovan Edwards is not. Mullins might be. Mullins probably is. You're going to be your RB1 next year. It won't be Donovan
Yeah.
Edwards if you ask me.
I mean, maybe Alford figures out how to use him more. I mean, he figured so
He needs a
to
way to
me,
develop
Donovan
him.
Edwards, he could be the guy who goes on the flats, catches passes, and takes him for 20 plus yards. That's what he did with Henderson, and that's what made
Sure.
Henderson so electric. So maybe that's how he uses Donovan Edwards. Maybe it's actually a blessing that they got Tony Alford, and that's gonna catapult Donovan Edwards' career. I don't know.
Only time will tell on that one. I don't think Donovan Edwards is going to ever be a star in college. He had some great highlight plays,
Yeah,
unfortunately, versus Ohio State in 2022 that led to the victory for the Wolverines. Led to the what I would say an upset victory. But I don't know. I don't know. I see Alford being a bonus for the Michigan staff as well, but I just don't see your staff being as elite as it was. This is the best Michigan staff that's ever been assembled. Jim Harbaugh, credit to him and props to him for assembling this staff. But
he took
you
them
don't
all
have
with
those guys
him.
anymore. What's that?
He pretty much took them all with him,
Sure did.
and Mike Hart just decided not to come back. Do you
For
ever
one
find out
reason or
why he
another.
decided not to come back? Was he dealing with like health or personal issues?
It was never disclosed why Mike Hart didn't come back. It was never disclosed. He just left. Apparently, there were reports that he didn't even come back with the team and wasn't participating in coaching, um, coaching stuff as the offseason was going on after they won the national championship. As like the day after, Michigan reported like Hart was not participating in stuff, and so something clearly was going on. My guess is personal issues. I'm not sure exactly why Mike Hart wasn't retained on staff, but he was clearly not retained for some reason or another, and he didn't prove anything this year. He had like 300 yards rushing this year, 400 tops. Donovan
Yeah,
Edwards is not a consistent player.
no.
Maybe he'll become that under Tony Alford. It's possible he does, like you mentioned, Rob. But at this point in his career, he's not the guy. He's not the every down back. I think Mullins is better than Donovan Edwards.
From what I saw when they played TCU in the second year they made the playoffs, that yeah, if he's either a home run hitter or he's going down after 2 yards first
He
contact.
doesn't break tackles. He has
No,
no vision. He cannot see holes. He cannot see holes before they open up. He's
I mean
not an elite back.
he can
He's
see
got elite
holes.
speed, and that's it.
Yeah, he can see holes that you can drive gigantic trucks through. But other than that, like he just doesn't. I don't know, but
Yeah, for some reason, I mean, he was electric in high school, and he proved to be electric here at this time, and here at this moment, and
but
here at
here's
this
the thing,
moment.
man. Let
Not
me tell
consistent.
you a little about Michigan high school football.
Yeah,
It's really not a big football factory.
it's
I
not
mean,
recruiting
yeah,
bad.
I mean Belleville is pretty much the new college football factory, and
Yeah, it's not Cas Tech anymore, is it?
so is Detroit Caz Tech in a way,
Yeah,
but
in a way, they've fallen off a bit, though. I must admit.
yeah, but it's not really it's not like Ohio or Georgia or Texas or Florida or California or anywhere in the Bible Belt. It's
Yeah.
not. There's not that much talent that comes out of Michigan. I mean, yeah, we have like I think Bryce Underwood is the highest recruit since Ronald Johnson
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're
or
right. You might be right about that. I
Donovan
remember
Peoples
Ronald
Jones
Johnson.
or Dante Moore. Like
Sure.
it happens like once every like 5-6 years.
That's interesting. I don't think that's true accurate. That's not even close to true.
I don't know, man. Like, has the state of Michigan has the most start? Are you talking about? Are you talking about players who like actually went to high school in Michigan? Or I mean, like, I just don't see it. Like,
High school athletics. California and Texas and Florida lead that way. I guarantee it by a mile. And Georgia's
yeah.
catching up very quickly.
I mean, yeah, we'll Google it, but like, I say California or Florida, dude. I really do.
And we all know for a long time Ohio and Pennsylvania were the leaders in recruits in the Midwest for the states. Um, Interesting. We'll have to look that up, and maybe we'll do a
Yeah,
little
we will.
expose
I mean,
on it next
yeah,
week. But
like Aiden Hutchinson, Sauce Gardner. Um, who else was there? Donovan Peoples Jones.
DPJ,
Who else is there? Oh yeah, the guy like the cornerback from Caz Tech who went to Michigan, then was played for the Dallas Cowboys. Jordan Lewis.
oh Lewis was nice.
Yeah, Jordan Lewis. Who else is there? Oh yeah, Brandon Graham.
Brandon Graham, longtime NFL player. Mike
Yeah,
Weber, yeah, from Ohio
but
State
he
running
wasn't
back.
a Mike Weber. Yeah, he got drafted, but I, like he didn't really like play in the
He was not
NFL.
productive in the NFL.
Yeah, he wasn't
He was
really.
productive in college. He had about 3,400 yards rushing in college at Ohio State, but um, yeah, as an NFL player, not all that great. That'll be an interesting topic. Maybe we'll have to do a video on that at some point, but I'm
Yeah,
not certain. We can't
we'll have
Google
to
on the
talk
fly,
about
obviously.
the the most like talent from each state who actually like made it in the NFL
We
and
made it big, yeah.
actually started.
Okay. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see who had the most, longevity in their career too. Not just got drafted or whatever to the NFL, but like played.
Played at Cas. Oh wait,
Yeah,
wait? Did you play against him in the state finals?
yeah. I know they made the
You
state
go to
finals that year, his
Did you go to
senior
Catholic
season.
Central?
First round playoffs, they
Oh,
took us
first round
out.
playoffs. Yeah, my nephew is uh Garrett Moore's, and he played Cas Tech in 2013 in the finals when they had Mike Weber and like
Oh wow,
Jordan Lewis
that
and
was a stacked team, huh?
yeah, they had a really stacked team.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, I got you. I
Fullerton
got you.
High School. Gotcha.
That's pretty wild, man. He must have been really hard to tackle in high school. I can't even imagine. He was hard to tackle in college. Can't imagine how hard Mike Weber would have been to bring down in with the high school defenders. My goodness gracious, that sounds like a nightmare. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, rancid, rancidity. It possibly could happen. We're predicting that'll be Ohio State's toughest game this year, like without question. Now Michigan will prove a deadly opponent and a lethal opponent possibly as well again. But at Oregon, since the game is in Columbus, I think versus Oregon in Eugene at Austin Stadium, that's a tougher matchup. We're not overlooking Michigan. I think Michigan's going to be really tough this year,
Yeah.
but slowly the decline is going to come, and they're gonna peel off under Strom more, in my humble
Hey man,
opinion.
that's a really expensive ticket. I mean, it's going for like $500-600 a ticket.
Ooh, that would be so expensive, dude. I can't imagine,
Yeah.
especially since that
Oh,
game that we were supposed to play out there in 2020 that got canceled. We were supposed to play versus in Oregon, um, and then COVID came and took away all the non-conference games that year. So,
well, we appreciate that.
well, thanks so much, man.
Yeah,
Hopefully, you watch some more of our
we
videos,
appreciate
man.
that. I mean, yeah, Oregon's they are going to be a test. They're stacked. They have a good head coach. I mean, they're and it's at Oregon, so
Dan Lanning's a good
it's
coach.
gonna be a lot to handle. I mean, who knows what type of package they're gonna do with Dylan Gabriel and Dante Moore? Who knows
It's
what's
gonna
gonna
be
happen with that?
ridiculous, man. I
They could
can't.
be playing two quarterbacks, a special package system like all year, just to throw defenses off. You never
Sure,
know.
it'll be interesting. That's I. There's no game I look forward to more than the Ohio State Michigan game, but Oregon is gonna be one B that I'm looking forward to this year. You're a Georgia fan, so I have to cheer for Dan Lanning. I got you. I understand. I got you.
Oh
I
yeah,
follow.
that's right. He is a part of the Kirby
Coaching tree.
yep, the Kirby coaching tree. So
Yeah, I really
not,
like Dan Lanning. He seems like a respectable and likable guy. I
I
think he.
I like when he roasted Coach Prime. That was
You
the
read my
best,
mind. I was just thinking about that too.
dude. That was the best, man.
I really was just thinking about that. That's hilarious, bro. Um, what do you see Georgia going this year, Rob, and also
Ooh, man.
Rancidity? Do you think Georgia and Ohio State can meet up in the national championship game or in the
Oh yeah,
semifinals?
definitely. I think hanging out boys. I think Georgia and I made a video about this. I think Georgia's gonna win the SEC for like they're gonna rule the SEC for years to come. They're just they're just stacked. And
They're
they have a lot of recruiting classes, like top recruiting classes coming in the end. They get rich in the portal as well.
Georgia is the one of the teams that's primed to take advantage of Alabama potentially falling off. They could really make the next step and make the leap Yeah, I know they already won 2 national titles. They could be the next dynasty program in
Yeah,
America.
they could.
Yep, yep. Rob made a video on that about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, when Saban retired, the GOAT retired, and I think that's all. We can all respect Saban for what he was. He was the GOAT for
You
sure.
know
But who's going to step up and take their place?
that
Okay,
that that handshake at the 50-yard line. I think it was before or after the SEC title game. I think that was a passing of the torch by Saban because
sure.
he knows how special Kirby's gonna be once he retires. So,
Yeah, no, I think Georgia's primed for a serious run in the national
oh
title this year.
yeah,
You have Georgia versus Oregon playing for the title. Who do you have winning the Big Ten then? By the way, when he announced his retirement, I celebrated like I won the lottery. Yeah, because he knew he was out of the way. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Wow. YDM thinks Oregon is losing to Michigan and Ohio
does
State. I don't
Michigan
know
even
about
play?
that, man. They're
Does
primed for a
Michigan
really
even
big
play
run.
Oregon?
They do in the Big House this year. They play him in the Big House.
Yeah, I hmm, I we'll see what happens with Alabama. Going from so here's my thing. He's a good coach, but going from like Washington to a program like Alabama where it's an absolute pressure cooker and like
It's a
Sam
different ball game.
has like built that program up to here and that's where like fans wanted to stay at when you have like this new coach. So it's just like yeah, the recruiting's great, but like how much is it like living off of you know, the propped up Al the propped up
Right. Well,
Alabama?
and here's the thing. Miami kept it going for a few years under Larry Coker too. They kept it going for a few years. They reached a couple more natties. They even won the natty the next year. But that's
Yeah,
not
but
going to happen with
the
Alabama this
here's
year because
here's
their
the thing
roster
with
got
Larry
depleted.
Coker. Here's the thing with Larry Coker, like he was an assistant coach.
Yeah,
Like he never was at any other program who had success. This is a different coach. I'm just saying, like going from Washington to Alabama, that's a giant step. And how he's
big
gonna
step up.
do his first or second or third year is it remains unseen. But only time will tell. Is there promise that he took a program like Washington to the national
Yeah,
championship playoffs? Yeah, it is. It means that he can take a program and build them up to be successful. So that's what Alabama fans have to look forward to.
sure. I think he's a good coach, man. It's very clear to
Yeah,
get Washington in the national championship. That's respectable and that's commendable. I think he did a fabulous job. He's got a big job ahead of him because a lot of talent was picked off and plucked off that Alabama roster. And so it's just
yeah.
interesting to see how he's going to respond. It is
But
good that he's hitting the recruiting trail running.
Caden Proctor, he came
That's
back.
huge. That's
Yeah,
huge that Kane
that's
Proctor
huge
came
for
back.
them. He came back.
Interesting. From an Alabama fan, hot take: Michigan is going to
Wait,
have 2 to 3 losses this year. Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon. Wow,
you
that
have
is a
them
hot
beating
take.
you have them beating Texas with Quinn Ewers?
Yeah, they played Texas in the Big House. I don't know.
Man,
I don't see them
that's
getting
gonna
by
be
Texas.
tough. I don't know the way that Texas went to Alabama last season and just like in a way they dominated that game.
Yes, house them. Yeah, they do in the Big House this
Yeah, they
year.
do in the big house. That's another expensive ticket as well. We're talking like $700 a pop, dude. Like
Oh man, that would be
in the
so
big
wild to
house,
go to.
prime time.
So you have them
Oh, they
losing
lose
4
in
games
that.
this year. Interesting. I don't see Michigan losing 4. I think their defense is too elite. A lot of people are kind of overlooking Michigan's defense. Texas is going to be phenomenal next year with Quinn Ewers coming back, but the Michigan defense is going to be pretty elite. Um, yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, as Buckeye fans, we want them to fall off a little bit. Of course, we've enjoyed these top 5 matchups. We don't enjoy losing them, but we've enjoyed the top 5 matchups and what that means for the national title picture, what that means for the Big Ten picture. We want to see Michigan fall off a little bit. At least I personally do, and I think that will eventually come. I don't think it'll come immediately. They lost so much on offense. They lost their entire offensive line. They lost Corum. They lost Johnson. They lost Roman Wilson, and of course McCarthy to the draft. So we'll see how they respond offensively. I think they're going to have some really bad kinks to start the year to try and work out if they don't get a quarterback from the portal, which I don't think there's anybody left. So good
Yeah.
luck with that, Michigan.
I
Alex Georgie starting is not a good thing for them.
No. I mean, Quinn Johnson came back. That's I mean that's a plus for them. But
Yeah.
I don't I don't I don't know if Penn State. It's been the same thing every year with Penn State. They lose to Michigan, they lose to Ohio State. I mean, they're bound to get over the hump, but I don't know. I kind of don't think that
Here,
one of Michigan's losses is going to be to Penn State.
I fully agree with you because here's the thing, man. Penn State craps the bed every single time they come to Ann Arbor. They
Hmm.
literally crap the bed every single time they come to the big
I
house. They
think the
don't
point
know how to play in
differential
the
has been
stadium.
30 plus.
Yeah. They play them tough in Happy Valley, somewhat like they did last year, even though they got bludgeoned on the ground. Rob was at that game. And I know that um, whenever Penn State travels to Ann Arbor, dude, it's like they leave their talent and their composure at home, even though the big house isn't known as a notoriously loud stadium.
Yeah, I don't know how James Franklin I mean, here's what I think happened. Coming from where Penn State came from during that very dark time with Jerry Sandusky,
Yeah.
I think Penn and seeing how much worse it could have been, I
Yeah.
think Penn State fans are just really happy to be where they're at right now compared
Well, do
to
they
where they
really?
were.
Penn State has quarterback issues, according to Pickle. I think they do. Drew Eller is a problem, bro. They brought in a new offensive coordinator and a new coach, I think, quarterback coach, to try and solve those issues. Drew Eller was a guy I wanted because he was a 5-star out of Ohio and grew up an Ohio State fan wanting to go to Ohio State. But boy, he was worse than Kyle was last year, that's for sure. Now, he didn't have the same wide receiver talent that Kyle did. I hope to see improvement out of Aller, not to the point where he beats the Buckeyes, but to the point maybe we can beat Michigan or at least challenge Michigan. But he was pathetic last year.
Yeah, I was at that Michigan Penn State game, and there was that instance where they had some momentum going. They were
Sure.
they were going down the field, and then he has to run it a bit, and he fumbles, and
Hmm.
that just sucked the wind right out of him. But he did. Anybody want Mike Bobo?
No, nobody's chasing after him, so you can keep him.
No, but he did. I mean, he has glances of brilliance, and then he just. I don't know. Personally, I think that it was the offensive coordinator. If you look at their
Yeah.
I mean, their offense just seemed too explosive just to be. What they didn't even get a touchdown against Ohio State, and they barely
Right.
did anything against Michigan. I
Right. They
mean,
barely got one
you're
versus
not going
UM.
to get over the hump with that type of production against those defenses.
Well, that's the thing. I'm actually going to make a video about nice. I'm going to make a video about Penn State and their lack of explosive offensive production since the Saquon Barkley, Trace McSorley days. What's the problem at Penn State? Why hasn't it been fixed? And I'm going to make a video, a deep dive into that. Hopefully tomorrow, but I don't know. Depends on what time I get up for tomorrow before work, and we'll see if I can bust that video out or
I
not.
I don't think James Franklin knows how to fix it.
Yeah, he keeps on revolving door at offensive coordinator. He can't seem to solve those issues. There is what I see. So I don't know if he'll ever fix that issue. That's for sure, man. They got those backs, Allen and Singleton and Drew L.R. It was a 5-star recruit himself, and they still have no explosiveness on offense. It just hasn't never developed since the Trace McSorley days. They always have a go-to receiver. They always have a good tight end. Yet they can't move the ball hardly on anyone.
Yeah.
Now, to their credit, they've challenged us in years. The Dwayne Haskins year, 2017 and 2018, they challenged us immensely. Those were the Trace McSorley Barkley days. Those days are long behind them now, and I don't see things getting better offensively for Penn State as it was. Dang, it's like that. Penn State
Yeah.
wasn't meant to have great players. Wow.
I mean, Manny Diaz is gone, so we'll see how their defense fares.
Sure. On
Yeah.
offense, yeah. They always had elite linebackers and defensive ends and defensive tackles. Um, at one time they were known as linebacker U, but yeah. It's interesting, man. Penn State not meant to have great players. I don't know. They're still a power in the Midwest, but not a great power in the Midwest anymore. It's kind of like they're kind of like Notre Dame a lot. Let's be honest. Let's be real. They're kind of like Notre Dame. They've fallen off, and they haven't found a way to rebuild and rebound from their glory days. In the 80s, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they were a power as an independent program
Yeah.
under Joe Pa. They joined the Big Ten, and the first year they went undefeated and didn't get a national championship, which I find hilarious. Like, honestly, I think they probably deserved a national championship. They floored Ohio State 63-0 that year. Um, and I think they beat Michigan and they won the Rose Bowl. I thought they deserved a national title, but that was 30 years ago now. Yeah, Tony gets you started on Notre Dame. They're a program gone by, aren't they? My goodness. It's just the way things have
Yeah.
gone in
They need to
Midwest.
join
Ohio State is a
conference.
vacuum for talent. Would you say, Rob?
I said they need to join a conference.
They need to join a conference. They need to get over themselves a little bit and get out of their own way. Like, here's the thing. Even still, I see a lot of Notre Dame fans that are not willing to join a conference, though, and they're not mad about having to play an extra game in the playoffs, not getting the bye in the playoffs. I just don't get it, man. Don't make it harder for yourselves to win a national title. It's already been since 1988. That's a long time ago. That's when I was born, okay? Like, don't make it harder on yourselves to compete in the modern era. Do what you got to do to compete, man. Do what you got to do to compete. Oklahoma, I wonder why you don't like Oklahoma so much. I used to not like them when Jason White was there in the early 2000s, but that was just a jealousy thing. They were
You
so
know what?
dominant,
Made them in soft bowls when Baker Mayfield was on that team.
really unstoppable. Oh, too stuck on tradition. Interesting. Pickle chiming in on that one. Okay, interesting. Yeah. No, it really is interesting to notice some teams just not be able to get over the hump. Oklahoma hasn't. Oh man, they really have struggled since the Baker Mayfield days. That's for sure. And I don't see them rising up too more. I don't see them doing a whole lot in the SEC, to be honest. What about you guys in the chat? And what about you, Rob?
I mean, didn't they beat Texas last year in like the last minute or
With
so?
Dylan Gabriel, yeah, they did, but
Yeah.
then they didn't even make the conference title game though.
No, they didn't. I don't know. When it was announced that Texas and Oklahoma were joining the SEC, I'm like, wait a minute, like they're gonna get embarrassed. Like the Big 12 is not known for defense. Like they're gonna get embarrassed. But I think out of those two teams, Texas has the best chance to make it in the SEC.
Well, yeah, it's a hard adjustment moving conferences, and that's why I hesitate to put Oregon in the conference title game just as an automatic slot in there. Um, and same for Oklahoma or Texas. Like, Texas has got a tough schedule entering the SEC. Um, I think they'll be more. Oklahoma will be more negatively affected by the conference change than Texas will be, because Texas is built like men up front. Now Venables at Oklahoma is trying to do the same, but he seems not capable of that so far. They got the huge upset win in the last second versus Texas in the Cotton Bowl. Everybody remembers that classic game from this past season. This is probably one of the best games of the season. But yeah, no kidding. Um, It's interesting because I just don't think they're built like that on the line to compete. I don't think they're meant to compete. Um, To
Oh
be
yeah.
fair, all SEC teams have a nightmare schedule.
Who?
I mean, they do, but yeah, but they new
There's
members of the
one.
conference get hosed in that aspect.
There's one team in the SEC who just has an absolute nightmare schedule. I'm trying to think of who it is. Isn't
I think it might be Florida.
it is Florida. They do have
Florida's
a
schedule is absolutely insane. They're probably going to go 4-8 this year.
yeah, and then Billy Napier is gonna get fired finally.
I think, yeah. Sunbelt Billy, he's not built for the SEC, man. He's
Yeah,
just not built
he
for it,
is
bro.
not
I
like
don't think he's going to last very long. I think this is Napier's last year as a head coach at Florida. Yeah, they really did with the schedule. Their schedule is going to be insane this year. I'd have to look it up, but their schedule is absolutely ridiculous.
yeah.
One of y'all split on the camera for my last $50 donation of the night. Oh yeah, we always split. That'd be much appreciated. Be much appreciated if you're willing to. This is your first comment though. I haven't seen that. I got that from Uncle Lou, so that is not my comment. That is Uncle Lou's copyrighted trademark for Sunbelt Billy. That's not me. Oh, I see, I see. No, no, we ain't doing that. But no, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how Florida responds, bro. But I think this is Napier's last year. I don't think I don't think he's cut out for the Florida job, which is surprising because at Louisiana, I thought he was going to step in and he was going to save the program. He was going to stabilize the program, and it just has not been the result at all that we've seen. So, um,
No.
yeah, man. I don't know any other college topics you want to cover before we hop off. I know we got a lot of people online right now, but I know you got to get up and I got to get up for work
Dude, you
tomorrow.
know what, man? I may have to get up and teach tomorrow, but it's after that it's spring break and you
Spring
know
break is coming,
yeah,
bro.
spring break's coming up. So going to Florida. But oh come on, Ohio State.
Pickle
Boy.
says, "What do you think the conference change in college football will affect college basketball, like the national championship? Or are you talking about North Carolina?" Um, I think it affects the other sports drastically. I mean, you got field hockey teams that got to go across the country, and volleyball teams that got to go play across the country. Okay, North Carolina. um, I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's really gonna be quite the drastic change. You're gonna see. I don't know. I just see money ruining the sport, bro. I really do. I really see money and greed ruining the sport overall. I'm not appreciative of it to the main fact. I think it's not good for the sport. I think it's not the best thing that is happening in the sport. I think it is ruining the sport. What do you think, Rob? What are your thoughts on it on affecting college basketball and other
Oh my
sports and
gosh, dude. Block go ahead, click on Matthew Parker. Let's go.
yeah,
Come on. Click on it. I don't got time for this
bro's
stuff,
got
man.
to
I'm
go.
I'm I'm getting too old. I'm getting too old for it.
Clemson, I heard sued the ACC. Did they not? Is that
Yeah,
not
they
right,
they
Pickle? I
they
heard
did
Clemson
sue
sued the ACC.
they did sue the ACC. Sorry, I'm kind of looking for the my phone charger came out of here. So just just looking for it cuz my phone just said 20%.
Hey
But
yo. I wonder where I'm
but
at. Yeah, I can't even tell on my phone right now on this on this
yeah,
on this YouTube live.
I don't
I always
know.
try and charge it up right before I leave work because I leave work
Yeah.
on at 8:45 on Thursdays. But yeah,
Yeah,
Clemson sued them. I didn't read the
didn't
story on that.
Clemson yeah, Clemson and Florida State both sued the ACC. I don't like do you know I didn't get to read the full article, but do you know
I didn't
why
either.
or
I
did you
think it's probably
did you
because of
get
that
the
clause that
article?
keeps them in there till 2035. They want to get out of that clause. They're like, listen, this is bullcrap. But it's kind of funny because they're the ones that signed the contract in the first place, trying to get some stability for themselves. And now they're
Yeah.
like, wait a second, this does not benefit us anymore. We want to get out of this.
Yeah, that I mean they should have the right to.
They should have the right to. I agree. I'm with you. um, unfair leaving terms. Yeah, it just seems like they got stuck in that contract, that long, long, long contract, and it's not for the best for the conference, for the stability. I think programs realize that the Big Ten and the SEC are the big dogs right now, and they're trying to break away from that. They're trying to get away from that, and they're trying to enter into a new world of college football because they know that the Big Ten and SEC are not going to stop expanding. That's just what I think. NIL is ruining the sport, pickle. You're right.
Yeah, definitely in the sport. I mean, that's like one of the main reasons why Saban retired. I mean, he had players going to the office saying like, "You give me this much NIL, or I'm gonna go here," and it's just like all these like kids, all
Thanks,
these
man.
young college athletes wanting stuff promised to them, or else they're gonna hit the transfer portal. I mean, whatever happened to blood, sweat, and tears, and hard work, and you
Yeah.
know basically earning your
Right.
keep.
Speaking of phone charger, mine just told me is at 15%. So yeah, we're getting low on my phone too. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna have to jump off soon in the last next 10 minutes or so. But yeah, man, I think it really is kind of wrecking the sport. It really sucks that these entitled players are coming in and they want all these things guaranteed to them, especially on the Alabama roster. I hope Caleb Downs wasn't one of the guys who was like, "How much you gonna pay me? If not, I'm getting out of here." But maybe he was, and maybe that's why he transferred. I don't know, but it's kind of crazy, bro. And I think it is kind of wrecking the sport a little bit. It's hurting my fandom a little bit, but like I said earlier in the broadcast, I'm probably not going to stop watching, man. I'm addicted to college
yeah.
football.
Been watching college football since like yay high, so it's kind of like
Right.
it would be hard to stop watching,
It would be.
but if you look at it, I mean, there are some prima donnas in the in college football now. Uh, I mean, we're talking about like athletes opting out to be in one of the most famous college football games of all time, and it's just
Mm.
like, you know how many people would die to be in that game?
Yeah.
And if I was a college athlete and they're like, "Hey, you wanna be a part of this game?" I do it for free.
Seriously, man. Especially if it was at Ohio State, my dream school. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously. Like that. Why would I not give my blood, sweat, and tears for the university that I grew up cheering for, and the university that I strapped up for apparently. So Caleb originally wanted to go to Ohio State. Only reason he came to Bama originally is because he wanted to be coached by Saban, so he also be good with him. Okay, it seems like that's a fair assumption and a fair assessment of the situation. He seems like a really humble guy, and he seems like he's really happy to be at Ohio State. He didn't seem
I
like he came just for the bag, but I don't know the context of everything. Seems like you might know a little bit more about it than I do. I forgot Caleb Downs was originally recruited by Ohio State.
So, yeah, so what happened was he went to the Ohio State Michigan game in 2022,
Uh-huh.
and I heard, like, there was reports that he left at halftime.
What?
Yeah. Actually, wait, no. He left, like, end of the 3rd quarter.
I was about to say
Yeah,
because the game was still close at halftime.
yeah. He
Ohio
left
State was winning at halftime, if I
he
remember.
left at the end of the 3rd quarter. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that
I
just
think we all got a little addiction. You started when you were three,
yeah.
pickle. That's awesome. I started really getting invested when I was 13. That's when I was really diving in when Jim Tressel became Ohio State Buckeyes coach. I wasn't too invested. I wasn't watching every single Saturday. No, I watched games as a kid. I went to games as a kid. That's what got me hooked. Um, my first game in the horseshoe though wasn't until 2002, the national championship season. So that's when I really started looking at statistics, recruits coming in. I would write down recruits and their statistics in high school. I would write down all this stuff. I would go to Ohio State websites every day, like I do now. And it's just how it is, man. It's the best sport of all. And yeah, it's just it's tremendous. So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's March, and we got a while to go until the season. We really do, but there's a lot of things to talk about. So we're live every Thursday, and then don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna keep talking here. We're gonna keep going for a while. Um, is definitely my favorite sport by a long shot. NFL's distant, like fourth for me. I have some other sports in there that I like as well, but I don't cover on YouTube like I do here. What's up?
I g-
Just realizing what time it is.
yeah, I just realized what time it is, man.
Should we jump off?
Dude,
Thanks, Pickle.
I'm an elementary school teacher, man. I mean, it's the day before spring break. Kids are gonna be crazy. I gotta be in my age. So yeah,
Yes, sir. I got you. My phone's about to die anyway. Appreciate you, Pickle. Appreciate you, Rancidity,
yeah.
for jumping in
Appreciate
and
it.
subscribing today. We appreciate it. We go live every yeah, we're in Michigan. We're both in Michigan,
Yeah,
actually,
we're
believe
in
it or
Michigan
not.
as well. 10:50.
It's 10:50 here
We both.
also.
I grew up in Michigan, so
Same.
I'm about like 20-25 minutes from Ann Arbor.
Yeah, thanks, guys. All right, we'll
Yeah.
appreciate you, Pickle.
See ya.
Hopefully, we'll see you again on live. Don't forget to comment on our videos and whatnot that upload every week. But yeah, appreciate you guys jumping in. Appreciate you coming in. We got some other exciting videos coming up this week. Can't wait to drop those for you. You guys have a great night. This is Buckeyes Battle Cry. Peter signing off. You guys have a good night. Signing off for Rob as well. Take care
Definitely.
now, Buckeye Nation and apparently SEC Nation, Wolverine Nation that jumped in
Yeah.
here. We'll see
We
you
got
guys
a lot
next
of we
time. All
got a
right.
lot of different hats coming in here.
We sure do. I love it. I
Yeah, I
love the
love it,
chat
man.
community we're building. So we'll
Yeah.
see you guys next week at 9:15 Eastern. All right.
All right.
Bye bye now.
Later.